we still do not have the retained list for Derby County, so we're going off on a whim with the signings and the targets that are being put forward for Derby County. But we've got one today, which is about a left back, Thierry Small, who has most recently been at Charlton Athletic. He is apparently a target from Derby County, but have talks taken place? Who is he? Where does he play? And how would he fit into this Derby County squad? So here is Thierry Small. He's played most recently at Charlton Athletic, but he spent a lot of time moving around a few clubs, but he is still within his youth phases, really. He's got a long way to develop, and he is a player that I could see fitting into a Paul Warne system. Now, if we do scroll further along through this presentation, you can see he's 19 years old. Born in 2004, currently at Charlton. His contract does expire this summer. I believe they have triggered his optional extension in his contract for an extra 12 months, but I do also believe that there is a contract offer on the table of 3 years by Charlton for Thierry Small. So I believe that this deal would be quite similar to the one we saw from Derby County and Bristol City with Jason Knight. Do I think that he's going to be affordable for Derby County to make a deal? I do think that there is a possibility for a deal here, especially with the fact that he hasn't yet accepted the 3-year extension that has been put on the table for him, reportedly by Charlton Athletic. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below or in this top corner to stay tuned for all my latest Derby County and Football League content, which will be heading your way. Obviously, the Euros is coming up, so stay tuned to the channel for international videos. We're going to be doing probably reviews of the Euros and how each day goes. And I'm hoping to get into a bit of talking about the squad selection, what squad I'd pick. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments about England and about this signing potential of Thierry Small. And I'll let you now get back to the video. There has been some murmurs coming out from Charlton's side, but we'll get onto that a little bit later on. But for right now, who is Thierry Small? He is a 19-year-old who has been at a range of clubs over his career. He spent time at Southampton, St Mirren, Everton, where he spent most of his time within the academy, but he did make a senior appearance. Spent time at Port Vale and Charlton. Over his career, he's made 96 career appearances. Obviously, as you can see on the right-hand side of your screen, he's made around 29 of those for Everton's academy sides. He's made another 22 of those for Southampton's B team. Now, he has made first-team appearances, 14 at Charlton, 21 at St Mirren, 8 at Port Vale, and then just the 1 each at Southampton and Everton. So, although he's 19, he's still got quite a vast amount of experience in different countries, obviously with his period at St Mirren. He's played 6,748 minutes, scoring 12 goals, collecting 7 assists with 10 yellows and 2 red cards. Now, obviously at 19 years old, he's not had a vast majority of senior experience, but he does have some in his back pocket. I'd say it's probably about 50 games, maybe 14, 21, 30, 40 games, there or thereabouts. So he's had a fairly decent start to his career so far, and I think that Thierry Small could be a good addition to Derby County's squad. Now, as previously mentioned, he is predominantly a left back, but he can play further forward. He's played on the left wing at times. He's played through the middle. He's also played on the right-hand side at times. So, for me, he is a player that, a bit like Kane Wilson, not necessarily a left wing back or left back, but has done a job for us there. Ryan Niambi as well has done a job for us at centre half, left back, right back. Like, it's players like that which Paul Warne loves. Kane Wilson's either played as a forward on occasion. So someone like Thierry Small who can play within those positions. Obviously, only a small sample size of appearances because he's not very old. He's 19 years old. He's got a long way to go. And I think that if Derby County are to make this deal, I think he could definitely be our left back going forward and for the future. But there's a lot to talk about within that left back role. We'll get into that in just a moment, but we'll just finalise this deal. How could it be? Now, I believe it would have to be a permanent deal. Obviously, I can't see Charlton going with a loan type thing where we pay a fee at the end or anything like that. Now, I have put within this that it could be a free deal. Now, I believe that's wrong. I believe that the optional extension has been triggered now, and there's a 3-year contract on the table. When I put this all together originally, I hadn't heard about the optional extension sort of thing. So I believe that there will be a fee in place. I do think it's going to be quite similar to the Jason Knight deal. I believe that Thierry Small will have to take the optional extension for because I believe it will be a club-sided option. But I'm not 100% sure on that. So there's going to have to be a fee involved. And as of yet, according to Charlton's press, there's been no talks between Derby and Charlton. Now, it is still very, very early in the transfer market. And Paul Warne did his interview with Rams TV just a week or so ago, where he said he's not really expecting major movement until sort of like the middle of June, start of July, which is sort of what I'm expecting. But I do think that talks will start to take place over the next couple of weeks. Obviously, we need to see what's going to happen with the League One playoffs, what's going to happen with the Championship playoffs. Obviously, Derby haven't even released their retained list yet. Championship clubs haven't all released theirs yet. So it's one of those where there's a lot of players and teams that are in a bit of limbo right now. So I think talks for permanent deals are sort of in a bit of, especially fee-paying deals, are in sort of a bit of limbo at the moment. Unless you're certain that you want that player, you're not going to be sort of going, right, let's go and sort this deal right now, unless you're adamant that that is a player that you want. Obviously last season we had sort of Joe Ward, Vickers, I believe Nelson and Callum Elder were all sort of through the door quite early on, deals signed and sealed, but they weren't announced until much later on. So it could be a similar situation here, but we'll have to see what Paul Warne, David Clowes, Mark Thomas all choose to do with the recruitment. Now, this is a depth chart that I've put together. I did these quite a lot throughout last season, throughout the transfer windows, to keep up to date with who we sort of had within our squad. Now, as you can see on the left-hand side, we've got loads of players out of contract. And what I want to talk about here is how Thierry Small could fit in. Now, as you'll see on the screen, at the moment, we only have one left-sided fullback, which is Callum Elder, and one left-sided winger, which is Corey Blackett-Taylor. Obviously, Mendes-Lang can play on either side. Washington can play those roles sort of as well. So, at the minute, we only really have one natural left wing-back, left-back, or left winger. Now, I do think Sibley will have his contract renewed. So, make that 2 on the left-hand side. Now, I do believe that in the Championship, Sibley will get another option within like a 10 role, whether it be in the 2-10s, which is shown in this 3-4-3 formation, or whether it be in like a 4-4-2, a 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1 type vibe, or whether it be a 3-5-2 in behind 2 strikers. I do think Sibley will get an opportunity within the number 10 role again. Now, you can let me know your thoughts down in the comments, but that's just my opinion. So, I do believe that Thierry Small would fit. I think being versatile, being able to play on both sides, I think is a massive bonus if Paul Warne is to want to sign him. And obviously being able to play further forward offers more options. Now, the big discussion point would be, at 19 years old, is he going to come in and be a starter? Or is it going to be sort of like, he's going to be sort of in the background, playing for the 23s and sort of in and around the first team, but getting 23s minutes? How are they going to make it work? Because obviously he's playing first team football at Charlton. So if we're going to be spending money on getting him in, he's got to be playing, in my opinion. So it's one of those deals where I'm not entirely sure how it will work long term. Well, long term, obviously, the idea would be for him to be our main fullback. But obviously, at the moment, Sibley's obviously played well out there. Elder's not really got going. So it's sort of, I'm not 100% sure where he'd fit. Well, it's obviously I know where he'd fit on the left-hand side, but like where he'd sort of slot into the squad is like, 'cause he's not going to want to come in as third choice on the left-hand side. So it's a bit of a difficult one without knowing the thoughts process of where Sibley's going to be playing if he stays, where Elder's going to be playing. It's sort of a really difficult one to come to terms with whereabouts Thierry Small would fit in. Now, do I think this deal is going to happen? I am not sure. I'm under the impression that I think he'll sign the extension at Charlton, the 3-year contract that's been put on the table. I just don't think... I don't think Derby are going to be in the market for him. Maybe they'll be in the market for a left wing back or a left back, but I have a feeling this is a bit of paper talk, agent talk, to maybe get a better deal from Charlton in this extension that they're offering. But it's one of those where he could come in and he's going to be sort of down the pecking order. And I personally have this feeling that Louis Sibley is going to turn into the next Craig Forsyth. We're going to bring in left back after left back after left back, and Sibley's just going to end up being better than all of them. Now, I don't think Sibley's a left back. I don't think he's a left wing back. But since moving into that position, sort of midway through last season, 22-23, he's sort of made that position his own. I thought he played really well there through, a 10-15 game period in that season. Then he came back to it this season where we've got promoted, and that's been his position throughout the majority of the season. And I think it's one of those where, do we really want to be spending when we're trying to develop Sibley into a left back, or are we going to be moving Sibley on or pushing Sibley back into midfield? It's a really awkward one, and it's a decision which obviously I'm not going to have to stress myself out about. It's Paul Warne's decision. The decision he makes, I have to trust to be the right one. But that's just the situation we're in. I'm not 100% sure whether this deal will go ahead. I get the feeling it is just a bit of agent talk. But you'll have to let me know your thoughts down in the comments. And if you have enjoyed this video, make sure you click that like button. Share this video with all your friends that are Derby County fans. Hit the subscribe button as well. And I'll make sure to catch you in my next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football weekend.